Jim again. Getting back to the Volkswagen. You know, I'm a man. I should be able to rebuild everything. I don't know if you think that's funny. If you're not watching my videos, well, that's too bad. I'd like to figure out how to get more people to watch them. Most of the views I only see on my videos are like 4 or 5, maybe 8 videos. 8 views, excuse me, sometimes. I really don't understand how that works. And then you got like a guy a young kid actually in Pennsylvania. He's got like 40,000 views on this car that literally fell apart when they tried to pull it out of the bush. I'm so confused on how the whole video count works. So anyways, we're going to get back to this here Volkswagen Audi engine head. This is aluminum, and I'm going to bring you a little closer here. The valves are recessed because the way that these are designed. The flat tappet cam rides in the center, which is a single overhead cam. You can see how big the valve pocket is on a traditional 90 degree or whatever you work on. Usually your standard lifter is no more than 5/8, 11/16, 7/8. Sometimes you have 3/4 inch ones. No more than 1 inch, I would say. And if you're into metric, it's the same thing. That's what this is. This is metric. So I didn't mic these or anything like that, but I think they're, I don't know. Let me see. I think they're about, an inch. So I think it's like a 74 millimeter or something like that. But it doesn't matter. Who gives a crap about that? Measurements don't really matter. What matters the most is why I'm tearing this apart. The last one of these heads I did for a 1.8 turbo Audi. I actually had to buy a brand new one because the head was so far gone. So I called this company. If you hear that I'm plugging you, it's called Clearwater Cylinder Head out of Florida, and they're going to get devastated this week. Which today is the 30th of August, so they got a hurricane or whatever. So yeah, plug out there to Clearwater Cylinder Head. Thank you for that last one. This one I'm going to do myself because there's nothing wrong with the camshaft, nothing wrong with the lifters. The only thing is on these, since it overheated, is the cam seal is totally crispy. Therefore, if you replace this little $2 part, I bought a whole gasket kit for like, I think it was $37. It comes with everything, including one of these. If you replace this, then you should be replacing these, the little valve seals, okay? This is intake and exhaust. They're both the same size. This is a metric. I think it's a 5 millimeter or something like that. I have to look up on a chart. It might be a 6 or 7 millimeter too. I got extras, whatever. That comes in the kit. Very, very inexpensive. I think the ones I bought individually at Napa, I think it was like $3. Wait a second, $3 for something that's supposed to be European? Yeah, whatever. That's so dumb. So if you go to the route to replacing your valve cover gasket, your cam seal, things like that, then you should be replacing these little guys right here, because a lot of cars today are running that trash synthetic oil man-made substance. It's really garbage. That stuff is garbage. What happens is these things get dried out fast. These engines get hot up into the 300 degree range. You got different materials reacting together. Aluminum. The engines are still cast iron on these. I know the Toyotas and Mitsubishis and Honda engines. I know those are all aluminum, and that's great. But at least they keep it all together, where different materials stay the same. You know what I'm saying? So they're now not different. The heat range is always going to be introduced as one. Where this is different, when heat introduces itself from cast iron and it tries to transition going into aluminum, and aluminum heats and contracts different. Therefore, that's where you get your people saying, "Oh, you get warped heads and warped this and fluctuations." Well, that's why, because you're not keeping it the same. So, bear with me. I'm just giving some tidbits. I'm going to use here this here screwdriver to point something out. The cam journals are here. The front of the engine is where your crank and all that hoopla, that's all mind-boggle stuff for most men. But anyways, the front of the head is here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of the journals or journal caps are already marked from the factory, which is actually cast in Mexico. And it's supposed to be cast here in the United States or Germany, but it's a forbidden thing. I don't want to talk about that with border patrol agents and all that nonsense crap. I still don't understand why we're doing this in Mexico. It's just mind-boggling. So anyways, they discontinued all this stuff. But the parts are very, very inexpensive still. So all of this trash in here, this is synthetic oil. So the thing overheated, it cooked all the plastic. In the last video I showed you the baffle that goes in here. That's not going back in, never. Never, never, never. It's just a poor design, stupid. Oil's gonna go everywhere if it's conventional, if the machine parts are nice and smooth, which this is, but you can't tell. So to solve that issue with the oil circulation, I'm going to use standard either 5W30 or 10W30. Most likely just standard 10W30, because since the engine's got 93,000 miles, and I'm not going to be... I want it to last a long time. I've had very, very exceptional luck with 60, 70, 80-year-old engines with just standard 30 weight. You don't want to use non-detergent unless it's tractor. Non-detergent will do the same thing because it's got a lot of properties in it. I'm not going to get involved with talking about that. That's only for tractors and stuff like that, for heavy duties, basically what it is. So we're going to do the same thing with this heavy duty. I'm going to use probably 10W30 conventional oil. You can use 5W30, whatever your preference is. Viscosity doesn't really matter unless you have bearing knock and wear and stuff like that, which this doesn't really have any. What it has is cracked out dried seals because it overheated. Head gasket, the small shit. So I've already checked everything out. I don't see any cracks or anything plausible like that. But to correct the oil circulation and consumption, we change valve seals for the consumption so we have no oil burning. They're inside these pockets behind the spring and the keepers and on the top of the valve for you dummies out there that don't understand. Most men think they're mechanics, so they know all this. They're amazing. I mean, all the stuff that I work on, for most men, I fixed it. I had my friend or my brother fix it. Yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, that's why you come into me to have it fixed, right? So there's oil circulation holes here on the bottom of the journal. There are return holes on the top of the cap. Goes through the side on either one vent or two vents, depending on your type of engine. Some have more than two. You have one on each side, and then you have a cross-drilled section because they want oil, man-engineered oil to go in those certain spots because they know that it fails. So they put a lot of circulating holes to do that. So if you think that way, you're automatically assuming that whatever they did was inappropriate, wrong, not adequate, made to fail. You already outthought them, and you don't even have the certificate that says I finished my prestigious school. Thank you very much, Mr. Teacher. You passed them at that point. You don't need that money. You only need you need a feed and return hole. Oil pressurizes the galley. Oil returns to the galley from the opposite end of the track, or the opposite end or other side of the rotating assembly or mass of metal you want to lubricate. It's pretty friggin' stupid. It's actually really simple. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because everybody else seems to be doing videos of imports and shit like that. They have nothing special. It's 200-year-old technology. End of story. But what I noticed in people's videos is they're not talking this way. They're not telling people that there's too many oil circulation holes because of synthetic oil. They're not telling you that they're made to fail. They're not telling you that you have different types of metals with different types of heat transfers. They're not telling you any of that because they don't understand. They say a lot of men or mechanics sit there and say, oh, you got to replace all your studs only if it's broken. That's what I'm telling you, only if it's broken. Oh, you don't want to reuse any of your nuts. That's rubbish. You don't use any of your studs. You might ruin the tensile strength. They don't even understand the word tensile strength is. Okay, these are all superior hardened materials from an engineered plant, a company with men providing structure and power to assemble the stuff and perform procedures of dismantling and repairing or mantling. Yada yada yada, blah blah blah. It's all stupid to me. It makes no sense. Whatever. If your stud is broken, take your stud out, put a new stud in. Doesn't matter what it is. If you think that your studs are hardened, then you replace with that. It's very very inexpensive. These are studs. These are I think this is a 4mm. They're I think a 90-cent stud. If they were broken, which these are not, I would just go to the hardware store and get me a stud. If I cannot find a stud, therefore I take a bolt and I make a stud by buying a metric thread, cutting the bolt down and rethreading one other end. Therefore, I made my own stud. As long as you use the same style bolt, it don't matter. The covers don't care what the hell you're making it. But 99% of the men out there say, I can't get a metric bolt. I can't buy a thread. I can't press that in because it needs some kind of special tool. Bullshit. You can put this in with take it out with a strut extractor. You can put this in with a press, an arbor press. You can put it in with a hammer if you wanted to go that route. Sometimes I do. It's not going to hurt. But therefore, you know that you're going to end up marring up the end, so you're going to have to rethread that. That's simple stuff. It's all mind-boggle stuff for most people. I'm getting off track with this because these are little things. The little things add up to a big thing. And big things add up to great things. And great things add up to mind-boggling things for most men. And once you hit that word, mind-boggling, that's just like a supercharged for a brain of human to overexhaust themselves in inert. Basically, they overthink and they say, I cannot do that. Because once you pass that point, it's like no return. Now, I got news for you. None of that means anything to me. And neither should it to you. You just have to know two things. In and out. Doors close, doors open. There's hinges on them. If they squeak, you grease them. I mean, that's the simplest example I could give you. It's the same thing in anything. An engine, a tractor, a welding helmet with little bolts that squeak, that fall down. That's just a common little thing. It's just stupid. You fix the solution, you figure out a solution to fix that. Okay? It's the same thing, just reversed. It's all the same. This little thing piece, most people think, what the hell is this? That's just a lifting from the factory. They put that in there. They leave it there to make you think that that's special, that whatever. Okay? There's a lot of tidbits like that out there. So, I'm going to get to this. We need to correct an oil circulation problem with these style engines. One, we got rid of that goofy baffle made out of plastic, made to fail. I'm going to turn this head around real quick, and you're going to see something. This is all burnt and charred. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this head whatsoever. I've already looked at the head. There's no visual cracks. There's no marring, no scoring. The valves are exceptional. They look like there's no miles on it whatsoever. You know the odometer says 93,000. But the engine dictates that something happened to it catastrophic, which is a thing in most men's brain that says, I can't fix that. That's foolish. If you have a stripped out thread for your spark plug hole because that's a metric, you fix it. You buy a Healy coil. You can TIG weld this back together. If you don't have the ability to do that, then find somebody. It's very inexpensive to fix this head because I bought a new one and they're about $2,000. Okay? If you can pay somebody $85 or $100 or $200 or $300, even $300, that's way over budget for most people, to weld up a hole to rethread this spark plug hole or any other threaded surface, that is no money whatsoever, considering I know this is $2,000 if you bought a new one. If you find them used, that's even better. You can take a used head or any object and rebuild that into a new surface or a new playing field, whatever you want to do. That baffle melted under heat of its own power. Okay, bad substance in two different substances. You have cast iron, aluminum, and then you have plastic. Plastic does not belong in there. The melting properties of plastic is way under what they're demonstrated and told to the general public. Aluminum is a great product. The problem is all of these holes, this one, all these little tiny holes. This is an oil galley. This is an oil galley. Water, 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 oil, 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 water, so on and so on. Every time you see something black and charred, this is water, this is water, this is oil, that's oil. That plastic melted it and liquefied and got stuck all up inside this head. Therefore, you have no oil circulation. The reason why I know is because the sensor on this, the oil sensor, kept on going off. I'm the fourth owner of this car. The knucklehead prior to me said that he replaced the cam sensor. But the auto parts store that tested it said it's the sensor right on the side of the block because they really don't understand the way things work and they don't understand nothing anyways because they're assuming. Instead of knowing and learning and in teaching yourself to learn, they assume, and assume gets you nowhere. The baffle melted, filled up the heads in the oil galley, you have no return on the oil. Therefore, I've been cleaning all this out. These holes were totally plugged up. Now they're good. You can see the little screwdriver goes right in there, okay? That was plastic, all melted inside there. So the guy prior to me buys a new sensor for the oil light or the sensor sending unit because it kept on going off on the Volkswagen Zodiac. The reason why it kept on going off is because it was all clogged up. It wasn't returning. So we're solving that problem. We're getting rid of all that. I'm going to turn this back over. I'm telling you this because this is normal reality and business of today's throwaway world. We want it to fail because we don't want the general public, to know that there's better ways and you have the ability to learn and teach your brain on how to repair things on your own at your leisure. Does not matter how much it costs. It doesn't matter how much time it takes. If it takes you 50 years to replace something on one particular item, so be it. You did it. You didn't get caught and trapped in their little socialist event. You found an ability to use your brain and to teach and learn. And that's what I'm doing right here. That's why I'm showing you this video. Maybe somebody thinks that this is educational. This is a toaster oven to me. This is a hairdryer. This is a lawnmower. It's all the same to me. It's a substance, okay? Whether it be man-made, commercially made, this was machined from a man on a machine. That the machine came first. No, the man came first. The man came first, then we produced the machine to produce this. Therefore, it's liquid, it's substance, human touched. Okay? That means it's 100% humanly rebuildable. But everybody else says that we can't do that. And that's why this country is so far behind in technology. It's just mind-boggling. We've had technology 200 years in the making. And the bridges came from somewhere. For God's sake, all the bricks were laid somewhere. And my man did it. In the 20s, there was more millionaires in the 20s and 30s. And then most people are telling you. It's all lies in today's telling you. Everybody's telling you lies. Okay? This is 200-year-old technology. I know it's a flat tappet cam, blah, blah, blah. Nothing fancy, nothing special. The only thing that's different is it doesn't use a timing apparatus that was made out of steel. It's a plastic belt to fail. For consumers, consumption, to throw away world. It doesn't have to be that way. Fine, we can if you don't want to change, you can, you could, if I wanted to, I could machine a 100% authentic timing chain on this engine where it would never fail. I could get 1,000,000 miles out of it. Who knows? Maybe I will do that. Put it on another video. I could go to any friggin' store right now and make my own pulleys to fit this engine with a timing chain from a tractor that's 500 years old, if they existed 500 years ago. Most tractors, well, I'm not going to get involved with that. A lot of tractors are pretty old. And they still run today. You can get all kinds of new shit. Where do you think we get our crops from? New shit fails, old stuff produces. Remember that. So, get back to the oil consumption. I have to go through all of these circulating holes, okay? They're everywhere. All inside here. They go in the side. There is a hole that goes here. It comes out the side here. Therefore, oil's got to come in and out. Once I correct this, I know that the rest of the oil system works on the car already because I've already put a new oil filter on. Blah, blah, blah. I know it works because it's got oil in it because the pump's working. Everything's good. The pump on these are electric for the oil. So if it ever did fail, which I'm going to have to take off anyways and clean it out. So clean all this out. You can do it. You're a man, a woman, excuse me. You're a human being. Use your mind to get rid of, throw away those mental blocks of consumer knowledge, and tell the asswipes out there that are stealing from us, stop producing crap. Okay? Be honest with ourselves. We can fix it. Have a good day. Wait till the next video. This is amazing stuff here. I just touched the surface with the mind-boggling stuff. So, boom.